Some weeks ago, I said that I would like to present a homily after the Roe versus Wade decision by the Supreme Court was made, and so it has been made. So I'm going to give this homily. It's basically called, What Would You Do? Some years ago, I was in a parish as an associate, also working in high school and many other things, and the pastor and I talked about how we would take care of that particular parish. There was a river that ran through the middle of the parish, and so we decided that pastor would take one side of the river, I would take the other. And so I proceeded to go about kind of what I thought I should be doing, trying to visit as many homes as that other side of the river as I could, meeting many people, very interesting people. I got a lot of stories to tell about that whole area. But here's the interesting one. As I was visiting the one part, kind of the northern part of that particular side of the river, I didn't know all the people, but I met them, and some were not Catholic, some were, because I knocked on every door, whoever was home. Being in the rectory one day, in the office after having taught school, there was a woman came to the door and wanted to see me. And I said, fine, come on in. Sat down in the office. I said, I don't know that I know you that well. And she said, well, Father, you probably don't, because you came to the door one day. You wanted to know who lived in this particular house. And you were just going through all the houses in that neighborhood. How could you remember all the people? I said, oh, you were one of them then that kind of lives in my part of the parish over on the other side of the river. And she said, yes, that's right. I said, how can I help you? She said, Father, I'm in a real predicament. I don't know what to do. I said, what's the predicament? She says, I am expecting. And my husband told me that I must get an abortion or else he would leave me. She says, I don't want an abortion. I want to have the baby. And he's going to leave me. I have a job, but I don't make that much money to support myself and then pay for a house, take care of everything, and then get ready for the baby and pay for medical things and everything else. And I thought to myself, what should I do? I ask you that question. What would you do if you were in my shoes? I think we're kind of in that position today because after Roe versus Wade, there are still women, married, single, who will be with child, have to make a decision about abortions. And they might come to you and say, what should I do? I'd like you to think about the advice that you might give them. And maybe during the coming week, you can share with me that advice. However, there is one that isn't all that great. I gave this homily at one other parish about a year ago, and I can still see myself standing on the steps there outside the church after Mass. And a woman came up to me and she said, I know what you ought to tell her to do. And I said, what's that? Shoot him. I won't accept that as a viable conclusion. But I would like to hear what you would have to say. What would you do to help her?